Hey guys, Luke here, and it's been a little while since I've done a round preview. We're already up to round 15. I thought it was about time we bring them back. Now, rep round's been and gone. It was very exciting, but we're back to the NRL. All the teams are basically full strength apart from injuries. There's some returns this week, some people out. There's also people playing for an Origin jumper still, so we should see a pretty exciting round of footy. Now, as you all know, my predictions are pretty atrocious, but nonetheless, let's see what my predictions are for this round. So starting off the round on Thursday night, we see the West Tigers taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, I think this one's going to be a pretty good game. The West Tigers are definitely capable of playing a very attacking, entertaining style of footy. Whether it happens against the Rabbitohs, we'll have to wait and see, but the Rabbitohs are also capable of it themselves. Now, Adam Reynolds is actually back for the Rabbitohs, as is Cody Walker. I believe they said Alex Johnson isn't playing, even though he's been named, so I guess Corey Allen will come in, the guy who came from the Broncos. He's played a little bit of fullback there. James Roberts, I think he's been a great addition to the Rabbitohs side. I think he's hit it off very well to start off with, and I think he'll continue to do so. I think he just fits in with the Rabbitohs side at the moment. Now, I'm pretty sure I've got the big league here. No Sam Burgess, but he is in the 21, so he's not named in the starting lineup or anything, but he is actually named, so don't be surprised if Sam Burgess ends up playing. I think he'll be a big addition to the side. Regardless if Sam Burgess plays, I think the Rabbitohs will have too much for the Tigers. Obviously, like I said, Tigers are capable, but I just don't think it's going to happen this game, so I'm going to go the Rabbitohs 1-12. On to Friday night, we have the St. George Illawarra Dragons hosting the North Queensland Cowboys. Now, the Dragons, I watched them live a few weeks ago, absolutely demolished my Bulldogs, but that's to be expected. They're coming last, the Bulldogs are just not good. The Dragons were very good though. Corey Norman came back in. Corey Norman is a great player, he adds a lot to this team. Also, there's whispers Gareth Widdop's pretty close to coming back as well, so I think the Dragons should be pretty excited about that. The Cowboys, on the other hand, I think they're in some pretty decent form. They're not outstanding, but you obviously know if Jason Taumalolo's in a side, they're going to be doing pretty well. Drinkwater is making his debut for the Cowboys. Actually, not just his Cowboys debut, this is his NRL debut. Now, this guy, they had big raps on him at the Storm. It's kind of strange that they did let him go. However, Jerome Hughes and Pappenhausen kind of leapfrogged him due to injury. But at the start of the season, this guy was touted as being the fullback. I think he started the trials. He actually got hurt in the trials, and that's the only reason Jerome Hughes started the season at fullback anyway. So Billy Slater's got big raps on him. The Storm had big raps on him. They just had sort of too many people in front of him. But I think that's an amazing get for the Cowboys. Jordan Carter's been a pretty decent stopgap fullback, but I think he's better off suited in the centers or the wing. I believe he finds himself in the centers this week. But in terms of who I think's going to win this game, I think the Dragons are going to win this one. I know they were pretty terrible in their last outing, but Origin's been and gone. I think they'll be a lot better. Also, the talk is Michael Morgan's got a bit of an injury as well. I've taken him out of my super coach. I think the Dragons, I think they'll just have a little bit too much, just due to the fact that they're back to full strength, well, essentially full strength without Widdop, and also they're playing at home, so for that reason, I'm going to go the Dragons 1-12. Now, to the second game of Friday night, we have the Sydney Roosters taking on the Melbourne Storm. Now, in my opinion, this is easily the game of the round. We saw early in the year, the Roosters had that big comeback against the Storm. Actually, I think it was the Storm did the big comeback against the Roosters, but the Roosters ended up winning it with a field goal. Now, I think this is going to be an exceptional game. I know both teams aren't in like amazing form, but both are still very good teams. I think they're the two top teams in the comp, to be honest with you. Add in the Rabbitohs there, I think you got your top three, but this should be a great clash. Both teams definitely capable of winning this game. I think that the game's a home game for the Roosters. I think that makes me lean towards them a little bit more than Melbourne, but I mean, they got the job done in Melbourne as well. So I think overall, Roosters have the better team in my opinion, but the Storm, you can never rule them out, and I feel like it's one of those games where the Storm could easily pull this out, just grind out a victory. But I think your safe money is on the Roosters. Well, I don't think it's safe money because both these sides are capable, like I said, but I think the Roosters, they just got that little bit of class. We saw it in the grand final last year. I think we'll see it again on Friday night. So I'm going to go the Roosters 1-12. Now we move on to a super Saturday. We have the Gold Coast Titans hosting the Manly Warringah Seagulls. Now for me, this one, it's pretty straightforward. I can't see the Titans winning this one. I know the Titans are playing at home, but they've just been shocking this year. Still no Jai Arrow, and Manly, they've been super consistent, ultra consistent. It's kind of strange to say that about Manly, but they just are this year. Kate Cuss doing a great job. Cherry Evans doing okay. Tom Trbojevic in great form. Both the Trbojevic brothers in great form. I think Manly would do this one quite comfortably. I don't really know what else to say apart from that Titans suck and Manly are pretty good this year, so I'm going to go Manly 1-12. Now into the second game of Saturday, we have the Newcastle Knights taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Now I got to say, looking at this Broncos side, it doesn't really fill me with too much excitement. That side pretty awful for a Broncos side anyways. In terms of names, they haven't got really many big names, a lot of youngsters, and while they've got some guys like Payne Haas and David Fafita who are doing pretty well, the guy they got in the centre, Shabensky or whatever his name is, and they've got Richie Kenner on the wing, doesn't really fill me with too much hope for the Broncos. But the Knights, they're such like a hot and cold team. They've been in a pretty good run of form, but I mean, I don't know, they weren't good at the start of the year. Have they even been that good in their run of form? I don't know. Mitchell Pearce is playing pretty decent, but he's back from injury. Or I say back from injury. He never missed a game or anything, but apparently had an injury, couldn't play Origin. We'll see how he goes now. He's pretty much auditioning for an Origin jersey now that Nathan Cleary's injured, so expect him to have a big game, especially against the Broncos. I know the Broncos aren't the best at the moment, but they're still a side I think teams get up to play against, so sucks for the Broncos, but good thing for the Knights though. Callum Ponga, expect him to have a big game as well. His first game back I think since Origin, and he didn't have a good game at Origin, so I would expect him to be pretty fired up, pretty ready to go, ready to put a show on against the Broncos. So I think overall the Knights have a better team. The Broncos, they're such like an unpredictable side though. Like I said, they've got so many youngsters. You never know kind of what they're going to dish out. You know what you're going to get from your Payne Haases and your David Feeders and that. But the rest of the guys, Sean O'Sullivan's and that, not really sure. Even guys like Milford who've been around for a long time, you don't really know. So, I mean, Broncos are more than capable of coming out and putting a pounding on the Knights, but I just don't see it happening. I think the Knights are going to win this one 13+. Now into the last game of Super Saturday, we have the Parramatta Eels hosting the Canberra Raiders. Now, I say hosting, it's played in Darwin. Now, if this was played at Bankwest, I would think the Parramatta Eels were in for a great chance. However, it's not, obviously, in Darwin. Now, Dylan Brown is back for the Eels. I think he will be a big improvement for them. I thought he was pretty good to start the season. I know he only played a few games, but I stuck solid with him in Supercoach, and it's paid dividends. We got him back. But the Raiders, they have just been so good this year. They're definitely a top 4 standard team. I can just see them winning this one quite comfortably. However, the Eels, they're another one, like the Broncos, so hot and cold. 1 week, obviously, when they play at Bankwest, they win, but they put like 40, 50 points on. The next week, they'll get beat by like the Bulldogs or someone. Like, they're very unpredictable. Even this one, I can't say with full confidence that I think the Raiders are going to win. However, I think your smart money is Raiders. Eels, just, you don't know what you're going to get. Especially with Dylan Brown coming back in. It's been a long time since he played, and he's only played a few games, like I said. And while he was good, it's been a bit of a long layoff, so we'll have to see how he goes. But yeah, your safe money is on the Raiders. They've just been so strong this year. Chance Nickel-Kludstad has been outstanding. Josh Hodgson's still there. While ever Josh Hodgson's in the side, they're definitely a top 4 team. So I'm going to go Raiders 1-12. Now moving on to Sunday afternoon football. The first game is the New Zealand Warriors taking on the Penrith Panthers. Now this one's quite a strange one. No Isaac Luke for the Warriors. He's been dropped. Lachlan Burr's out. I believe it's due to injury or something about just like general soreness. But yeah, the Warriors are very hard to read. Panthers extremely hard to read. They've been winning as of late. James Maloney's finally found some form. No Nathan Cleary. I think it's Luai. He's come in. He's a pretty solid player. But their backline is very, very weird. I think Isaiah Yeo finds himself in the centres. Naden's in the centres. Dean Viro finds himself out of the side. They just got rid of Wonga Blake. I don't know what's going on at Penrith. Like I said, they've been in some pretty decent form as of late. Will they get the job done here? I don't know. It's a New Zealand home game, so for that reason, I'm kind of leaning towards New Zealand. I think Nick Carini's been a pretty good inclusion into that side. I wasn't a big fan of him when he first signed, but I think he's actually been quite good for them. Between him and Harris Tavita, I think they got a good future there at the Warriors. But Carl Lawton's been pretty decent at hooker as well. I think I'm going to go with the Warriors. It's not a very confident tip, but I'm going to go the Warriors. I'm going to say 13+ just because it's the Warriors. If they're going to win, I think they're going to win well. I think they're either going to win well or get absolutely smashed. I don't think there's any in between for them. So yeah, Warriors 13+. And now on to the last game of the round. It's my Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs taking on the Cronulla Sharks. Now I don't know what the hell's happening with my Bulldogs. Their side just swaps and changes every week. Once again, we've got changes into the back row. Taylor Mariner finds himself out of the side. Adam Elliott as well. Chris Smith is in at lock. I don't know. The backline's weird. Montoya finds himself back into the centres. So 50+ to the Sharks just for that. But yeah, the Sharks, they've got a pretty good side. Like, looking at their side on paper, when I think of the best teams in the comp, I don't really think of the Sharks. But when you look at their side on paper, it is quite good. I don't think Bronson Sherry is playing. I'll just have a look. He's been named. I know he got injured last game. So I guess he is playing, but apart from that, they look pretty full strength. Obviously, Kyle Flanagan's linked with the Roosters. but Sean Johnson is back, and I'm expecting him to do big things now that he's back in the side. Moylan back at fullback. I think to start off the season, I think they were just finding a combination, and then obviously both of them ended up injured. But yeah, this Shark side, I do like it quite a lot, and I don't like the Bulldog side at all. They're coming last for a reason, and yeah, I think it's easy money for the Sharks here. This is an easy 2 points. I think they're going to win 13 plus. In fact, I'll say they'll win 20 plus. This Bulldog side is it's not good. Anyway, guys, those are my tips. Probably going to get a lot of them wrong. I hope I get the last one wrong. I hope the Bulldogs win. I just can't see it happening. But guys, leave in the comment section below, what are your tips for round 15? Also, while you're at it, guys, make sure you go ahead and give me a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and are enjoying my videos. Also, while you're at it, just keep saying also while you're at it, but go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram. So on the screen right now, it's Mr. Luke on YT. My Facebook page is also in the description below and on the screen. It's just Mr. Luke. Give it a search. Been posting on that a hell of a lot more. Also, add me on Snapchat. Been posting on there. I sort of tend to post on there a lot more than I do Twitter and Instagram anyway. So go and add me on Snapchat. Right there, guys, round 15's here. It should be a pretty good one. No rep rounds or rep games or anything like that, so it should be pretty good. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.